This is a video that I hinted at doing months and months ago, and the moment I said it, you guys have been requesting it ever since. International break means it's finally time to discuss our top 10 biggest cheating teams of all time. And you know me, when I say all time, some of these I'm going to be taking it way back. Some are going to be right now, some are going to be the massive clubs that we're familiar with, and there might even be one team that you've never heard of in this list. So I guess I say honorable mentions. These are more so dishonorable mentions. We're going to be judging this based on, well, obviously cheating, match fixing, referee scandals, bribery scandals, anything like that, transfer scandals. These things will all be included, but of course this is not like a factual list, right? I can't have number 3, 4, 5 or whatever. I'm giving you my 10 in my order, but feel free to disagree and let me know where you'd rank guys, or if I forgot about any clubs. By all means, this is education for all of us, right? You might have some random team, you know, in Congo or something. Tell me about it. I want to learn today. So let's tuck in. Enough yapping. If you haven't already, you know what to do. We're on that road to 80k. Today we're going to learn something new, certainly. Not with number 10 though, because number 10 is a team that we are all familiar with. We all know about the current ongoings. It is Manchester City. Now, why are they so low? Why are they number 10? Very simple. We are still waiting year after year after year for the actual outcome of these 115 charges, right? However, as far as I'm concerned, I'm sure you guys have seen the video as well. If you have to bring, you know, 45 men in their suits pulling up to court like that, you defo done it. Now, that aside, the 115 and whatever, we know when it comes to, you know, other things, they're definitely big question marks, right? We can bring up, you know, cool man HMRC, because hey, Haaland for 50 million. Yeah, right. Come on, let's be serious. Let's not ask allegedly. I have to do allegedly all the time so that, you know, I don't get bagged. But let's not ask Mancini how much he was actually earning under the table when he was at City, if you know what I mean. Let's not ask why a lot of Manchester City's brand deals and sponsorships, you click on their profile and they have 8 followers. Let's not ask about that. Let's not ask why some of the CEOs of these companies, you click on their profile picture and it's just some random Getty images, or you know, like them default skins or whatever. I'm gonna call them no skin like it's Fortnite, but they just got some random person at the profile picture. I'm thinking, not sure about that one. But again, they're low down because we don't know exactly what will go on yet, other than obviously, you know, the transfer dealings and whatnot. That one we all know about. But let's see how it goes, because number 9 is going to be a brand new team for most of you. In fact, I'll be honest, I didn't know who these guys were till yesterday. Someone told me about them. I did my research. We have a team called Arkadag of Turkmenistan. What on earth is a polar bear doing in Turkmenistan? Let me tell you. Their former president, I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name, because although I can do my Chengdu Rongcheng and whatnot, this guy's name is too long. But their former president set up a team called Arkadag FC, and guess what? They have won every single league game they've ever played. They go play 30 games, 30 wins. Next season, 30 games, 30. They win every single game. Why is that? Because the former president, or dictator, whatever you want to call him, he makes boss calls to referees. I've watched tapes where they might be, you know, drawing a game or something. Next thing you know, suddenly they get a penalty for my man flying out of nowhere. They steal the best players of the second best team in the league, the third best team in the league. They play whenever they want, when the fixture list suits them, to the point where obviously they now won so much that they're qualifying for these, you know, Asia Cups and Asia like conference leagues and Europa leagues and these kind of the Asian equivalent basically of the European competitions. And I see they play Al Nassr as their most recent game. They lost that game 1-0, but Al Nassr even had to come and bring, you know, Joao Felix and Kingsley Coleman and Brozovic. You know, all the usual. Ronaldo wasn't there, obviously. I mean, I'm sure Ronaldo ain't going to be pulling up in Turkmenistan, but you get the point anyway. So these guys, they win week in, week out, week in, week out. They have not lost in the league, but they just win every single game because the referees are obviously in the pocket of the former president. So there's one that you may not have heard of. Number 8, a quick story, but we're going to Roma, who went to Scotland and lost to Dundee United in 1984. Obviously, for those of us who remember, we're going to hear a bit of that one today. They lost that game 2-0. Before the second leg, the referee is invited to a restaurant. With who? Ooh, I don't know. Allegedly, anyway. Well, it's not even allegedly, because the former Roma director's son came out and admitted this happened. So this is not even an alleged thing. This happened where they would offer him the bribe whilst he's in their restaurant, suddenly, second leg, Roma win that one convincingly, comfortable. European Cup semi-final. So Roma went on to play Liverpool. Liverpool obviously in the end won that. But poor Dundee, that was their chance for history to make a big name for themselves, right? They were the underdogs and they won that first game 2-0 just to get sent packing because the guys at Roma said, you know what, we're not going to allow this. Sure, listen, Roma, very hostile atmosphere with the stadium and the fans and whatnot. And in fact, even when the Scottish team arrived in Italy, you know, the people at the baggage claim, people in the airport, they were being, you know, aggressive with them, just being very standoffish because it was like, you know what, you've accused us of cheating. We're not going to let that stand whatsoever. Even beforehand, they were saying, yo, these guys, they're a bit dodgy now. What they were consuming, I don't know, me, I just drink my water. And I say allegedly because I don't want to get bagged, even though people have admitted that these things have happened. So that's Roma. In 7th, I've got Turkey. Just Turkey as an entire league. I can't even pick, you know, Galatasaray or Fenerbahce or Besiktas because listen, as much as I love the Turkish fans, I think the atmosphere looks great and I want to go to one of these games one day, like, I don't know, in Istanbul or something if they'll allow me, maybe not anymore. However, you can't have a league here where over 1,000 players and staff and officials are getting banned for illegal betting and match fixing and whatnot. I can't even put that as one team, bro. Maybe if you're Turkish or you watch Turkish league, you can tell me there's one team that's like the super cheats, but 1,000 players, guys, come on. That's too much, bro. That's too much, man. So I have to go the entire Turkey. Now, number 6, we have Marseille. Some of you might look at it and think I'm referring to right now, where they're obviously employing very questionable individuals. It's like they go on there, you know, you used to go on career mode, or I guess FM for you guys now, and you search them by criteria like, oh, speed 16 or whatever on FM or 90 on FIFA. Their thing is, have you got slight charges against you? Do you have a Wikipedia section on your page that says controversies? Yep, come on down, come and join. But this is not about that. I'm taking you back to the 90s where they got bagged, and this is one is the title was stripped away. They won League One, but it was removed from them, so it's not even alleged. It was removed from them because they were caught bribing teams to take it a bit easy on them and try and manufacture a way that they can win the Champions League. Does that sound familiar? Where have we seen that before? No comment from me. But yes, they told Valencians, yo, listen, guys, we want to win the Champions League. Can you just take it easy? The referee came and blew the whistle on the whole affair. And obviously they won the Champions League in the end. But even that was overshadowed by allegations, allegedly, again, cheating, doping, referees being attempted to be bribed and whatnot. So that's Marseille up in there. Into 5th. We go to England. We arrive at Chelsea. Now this one, I'm going to give them some leeway because they've been doing some self-snitching, right? They seem to commit crimes and then say, yep, you got me, yeah, I done it. So you have to say, you know what, fair enough. However, as we know, from the moment Abramovich, wherever his money came from, again, I don't, do your research on that one. I can't even go into that one because then they would definitely kick me off YouTube, innit? But find out where his bread comes from and then see just how many times they try to find every loophole possible to try and, you know, break transfer protocols. And this is obviously before FFP rules and whatever, but even, to be fair, we can even look at current Chelsea, right, with Bowley and these, man, the amount of like loopholes they're finding with 10-year contracts and amortizations and whatnot. I never heard of that word prior to like 5 years ago, but there we are. But again, I go back to the Chelsea one, you know, guys like Gel Kakuta, they're getting banned for transfer ban upon transfer ban. Obviously they're one of the first big spenders in the league, and you can question how much of that was legitimate or not. Me personally, it is what it is. You know, you have to hold that. But even they were no match for number 4, Barcelona. Why do I say they were no match? Because we know what happened when Chelsea met UEFA London. Now, before the era, if you're a bit younger, you know about this nerdy era of like Pessi, Penaldo, whatever you guys have been doing nowadays. The first one that I remember was UEFA Lona, because they scammed Chelsea with Tom Overbo when Ballack is running and then Drogba says, hey, it's a disgrace, a disgrace. They scammed Chelsea. They scammed Arsenal when Van Persie took a shot. The referee blown his whistle like 0.2 seconds beforehand, before he hits a volley. Van Persie gets a red card for shooting. I've never since, in, what year was that, 2010, 2011? 15 or so years later, I've never seen that happen again. Stoichkov diving against Dortmund back in, that one I believe was 1994. For those of us who remember, I could be wrong on the year on that one, but it's a disgraceful dive. I'll try and maybe get a clip of it or something. I don't know how I'm going to format this video, but yes, we talk about the cheating in Champions Leagues. That one has been going on for, decades. We talk about, in more recent times, monopoly money. Who do you want us to believe that you sold Arthur for 70 million? Arthur! Let's be serious, guys. And since then, it's been monopoly money ever since, bro. Like Joao Felix 100 M's, Coutinho 100 M's, Dembele 100 M's. Every time we think, yeah, Barca, they got no more money left, they pull some levers. What does that mean? Who even knows? I don't know. Suddenly, oh, we have money again. We're gonna spend that. But you still owe teams money for players that you've bought and you sold them already years ago. You're still owing them money. Are you gonna pay that back? And listen, I'm not gonna get into allegedly what happened with Messi to allow him to obviously be the greatest player of all time. What I will say is Pep Guardiola and his doctor, if you know about Dr. Kugat, man are getting ACL injuries, and like 2 days later they're pulling up like, yeah, boss, I'm ready to play again. I said, how can you keep on getting these 2 month, 3 month, 4 month injuries, and a week or two later, Dr. Kugat, hello, come and fix it, like it's Dragon Ball Z Senzu Bean or something. But alas, again, there we are. Let's get into our top 3, because we now have the podium places, the ultimate. This is like, for me, the top 4 is the top 4, right? From Chelsea and below, you can make arguments if they should be higher or lower or whatever, but the top 4, I think, is the correct top 4. In 3rd place, we have Manchester United. This should come as no surprise to anybody. The fact that in the last couple of years, referees themselves have been coming on podcasts to tell us, yes, Sir Alex Ferguson struck fear into our hearts. We were allowing United to just get away with anything. You look at old clips of United, and listen, it doesn't take away from how good United were. So I know guys are going to cry about people saying like, oh, this and that, blah, blah, blah. It's not about teams being good or bad, right? Because again, Barcelona, incredible team, but it doesn't mean they weren't cheating as well, you know what I mean? So United, you look at the old clips against their big rivals, whether it be the era when it was Chelsea that was their main rivals, or before that when it was Arsenal the main rivals. You look at those games and it's just, Gary Neville booting guys, Rooney booting guys, Rio Ferdinand booting guys. And again, I mention this because you might know how much I rate Rio Ferdinand, you might know how much I rate Roy Keane, and for me, Wayne Rooney, I think, is underrated. But let's not act like what they were doing wasn't shambolic, bro. You can't just go around kicking guys, up and down like that. And that's been for years. But if you want, if that's not enough, let's go back over 100 years. Why? Because United, on the brink of relegation, so shameless in their cheating, they ask Liverpool of all teams in a bribery at the pub before they get in, say, yo guys, let us win this game so we can stay up. And in fact, they were going to stay up ahead of Chelsea, by the way, who would have been the team to get relegated. So United won the game, but they got bagged for the match fixing. And you know what the punishment was back in 1915? For those of us who remember, they got sent to go fight in World War I. Was it worth it? You're going to play championship football or second division, or you're going to go to the war? Me personally, I'd rather get relegated, but hey, I'm not the one that got bagged. So there we are. Even United's cheating, however, is no match for number 2, Real Madrid. And again, why do I say that? Because these are the kings of Europe. But the kings of Europe, if we talk about the more recent one, I say recent, it's over 20 years ago now, but United against Madrid, United were no match for Madrid when they were doing their handballs on the goal line. But let's talk about the first 5 Champions Leagues, because they were riddled off the back of penalties. Can I put footage? I'm going to say penalties like this. Ramos and again, Mourinho back at it again. What a surprise. So much carnage in the Champions League that, yeah, it's impossible to not ask these questions. That's why I always say, Madrid fans and Barca fans, I say it time and time again, you man can't point at each other and say, oh, what a cheat. Oh, Madrid. Oh, Barcelona. You man are both peas in a pod. You know what I mean? You're both just cheating, bro. So accept it and you say, you know what, fairs, hold that. But none of these guys, or any match, for the greatest cheaters of all time. Number 1, Juventus. We look at the Calciopoli scandal alone, right? Now, Roma being here may be a little bit harsh, right? It's one incident, so you can say, it's okay. Like, maybe some other team that I haven't thought of could have been in there. But Juve, them man have been cheating since the dawn of time, bro. When the dinosaurs were local, I'm sure Juve were there somewhere trying to match fix about when the meteors will land. So Juve, big up Luca. I'm sure he'll come and defend them and say, nah, we don't cheat, nah. They got bagged for cheating. Calciopoli, they got relegated. You know, they had to come back and do whatever, blah, blah, blah. They finally came back into Serie A. And yet, something tells me, yeah, I just get the inclination, don't know about you guys, that they're still at it every now and then. Because I repeat, Arthur, 70 million. Are you really, really serious about that one? You speak to the United players. Now, granted, asking United players about cheating, yeah, maybe I shouldn't really use that as my source for this one. But many United players say, yo, when they used to face Juve back in like the early 2000s, late 90s, they're thinking, these guys are charged up on something different. Because granted, Juve had incredible players, right? Extremely talented guys. But the way these men were running up and down for 90 minutes, you look at it and think, something fishy's going on here, guys. So, Juve, congratulations. You win our title for the greatest cheats ever. In the comments, let me know any dishonorable mentions, because I'm sure I'm forgetting some teams. Bear in mind, listen, I don't have the worldwide entire thing, right? Big up that Nigerian team who signed a player on loan and then sold that player, you know? Big up to them. That's a cold move. I'm sure there's some other scandals everywhere, but this is my chance to learn. So let me know in the comments. Let me know what videos you guys want for the rest of international break. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for whatever video we have planned. In a bit. Bosh.